Hey guys, Dr. Anthony Pellegrino from ChiroWitch here to break down some research for you guys this morning. What we're going to be looking at today is a case study that was recently published in the Journal of Pediatric, Maternal, and Family Health. It was just published this summer, 2017, by Dr. Howell and Dr. Cooper, and it's a case study on resolution of otitis media or ear infections in a 10-year-old boy. Now the reason, this is just one of my favorite case studies that have been published in a while, and the reason I love it so much is because the pathogenesis, the mechanism system, how ear infections can actually be contributed to or even caused by interference in the nerve system, and how the spine actually relates to that. I think they did a great job breaking that down. The reason this has hit me is because the ICCA recently put up a meme about an infant who had been experiencing deafness and where the pediatrician from a local hospital actually recommended chiropractic care for this child, which was great. And a lot of the subluxation denialist sites went on there just completely, how the heck does the spine relate to the ears? And then up comes this case study that I got to read this weekend that was like, well, here is exactly how this happens, okay? The amazing thing is that they took and they looked at 3 different mechanisms for how this subluxation in the spine can actually relate to ear infections. And most of it comes down to the tensor valley palatine. Tensor valley palatini, that muscle we get to hear talk about a lot. Now, a lot of times children are obviously told that they will grow, or parents are told that their children will grow out of ear infections. We know that when children are born, those tubes are horizontal, and then as they grow, they become more vertical. Now, in this pathogenesis section in this paper, Dr. Howell and Dr. Cooper break down exactly how these ear infections come about and why that horizontal to vertical shift is important. Now, ear infections actually happen, obviously, because of blockage in the tube. The blockage results in a decrease in drainage, allows bacteria and viruses that are present in our body to overgrow, and all of a sudden we have an infection. Now, when we look at it, sure, does the vestibular cochlear nerve come from the skull and exit down the spine to come up? No, it doesn't. But this tensor valley palatini is actually controlled by the mandibular branch of the trigeminal nerve. Okay, now it's still a cranial nerve, but it has ganglion that come all the way down. It has nerve bodies that come all the way down to the brainstem. Okay, all the way down to the brainstem, all the way down by the atlas arches. Okay, so whether you want to look at a Dural attachment model where the misalignment of the spine has misalignment of the atlas C1 has attachment of the spinal cord via the rectus capitis posterior minor, or whether you just want to look at dentate ligament, or whether you want to look at disafferentation, how aberrant proprioceptive information bombards the cortex, interferes with the function of the brainstem, whatever mechanism you want to look to see how the subluxation of the upper cervical spine will affect the brainstem, will affect that ganglion, will affect the control of the mandibular branch of the trigeminal nerve, will affect the ability of the tensor valley palatini to hold open those two tubes. Whatever mechanism that you want to look at, it's right there. Okay, we know that dysfunction of the upper cervical spine is going to affect the ability for the body to properly regulate itself, is going to affect the ability of the body to properly control the tension on the tensor valley palatini and allow it to properly keep those tubes open. Okay. Not only that, we also have sympathetic innervation from that area. Now, aberrant information on the sympathetic nerves from C1 to C4 can actually also influence and control the tensor valley palatini, once again, with that mandibular branch of the trigeminal nerve. So understanding exactly how that works is also important as well. So we not only have the one simple mechanism of the mandibular branch, but we also can look at sympathetic innervation and how sympathetic tone relates to the tension on the ability of the tensor valley palatini to hold those eustachian tubes open. And then what we also have is that it's a pretty simple mechanism. What people understand is that a buildup of fluid, a buildup of immune lymph fluid, whatever it is that you want to call it, will also relate to the buildup of improper drainage in the ear. And if you just look at how if you want to even keep just a musculoskeletal look at it, by allowing proper function, proper tension on the muscles in the neck that are attached to the spine, proper function in that area is going to relate to improved lymph drainage because of the way that the lymph nodes come out throughout the sternocleidomastoid on the side, all the way up there through the neck. Having proper movement, proper fluid, proper drainage in that area is going to also relate to better regulation in the ear. So, when we look at this pathogenesis section, when we understand exactly how subluxation of the upper cervical spine, right, subluxation of the spine in general relates to not only, right, it's not that the atlas misaligns and physically puts pressure on the eustachian tube. I mean, if that's what you're saying, there's just better ways to explain it, right? The nerves in that area, the nerves from the neck, do control and coordinate. The nerves in the spine do control and coordinate the function of every system in the entire body, including the ears, whether it's this vestibular cochlear nerve or not. If we look at the meme from the ICCA, we could have easily broken down and looked at and said, well, was it truly a sensory neural hearing loss, right, which would be the vestibular cochlear nerve? Could it have been a conductive hearing loss, which could have just been buildup of fluid in that area, right? The subluxation denialists are just so quick to throw their thoughts, throw their denialism onto study, onto research, onto just simple mechanisms, and they're unwilling to look at the total picture and actually understand how the body works. So I hope that you guys got some certainty. Hope you guys got some good information from this video this morning. Please check out the summer issue of the journal Pediatric Maternal Family Health, and please look at this case study. It is called Resolution of Otitis Media in 10-year-old Child Following Improved Cervical Curve Using Pierce Result System, Case Study, and Review of the Literature, and it's by Dr. Jordan Cooper and Dr. Luke Howell. Thank you guys so much.